This is another in the series First Reads, where I just read a poem by a poet that I don't know or know very little about. And I just read the poem for the sheer joy of it. I don't read it to try to teach it or try to necessarily understand it or explain it or anything like that. I just read it. So I might be completely off. That happens sometimes. I might change my mind if I look back and look at it alongside the poet's other poetry or the society or history or theory or whatever. But I just read it for the sheer joy. This one is from a journal called Parenthesis. It's called, to get to it, you go to parenthesisjournal.com. That's it. I found this one rather randomly, so I'm just going to go through it. 12 El Valiente, Esteban Rodriguez. I don't know Esteban Rodriguez. Sorry, Esteban. So this is our first meeting. I always look at a form of a poem whenever I look at a poem. That helps me think through it, think about it. This one looks fairly traditional, boxy lines. It looks like anywhere between, I'm just guessing, right? 12 and, not 12, 7 and probably 12 syllables. Doesn't look like it's regularized. Doesn't look like there's a rhyme on the end, so I won't bother with that. I'll just read it. Sometimes the story had your uncle in the middle of the driveway, chest puffed, knife in hand. So this one already feels very narrative, a very narrative-oriented poem and not very complicated language in it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just commenting on it. The story had your uncle in the middle of the driveway, chest puffed sometimes, which means sometimes it didn't, right? So sometimes the uncle is there in the middle of the driveway cursing at a pair of men who just trying to break into his house. So there he is. I'm assuming this is the valiant one from the title there. Not sure what the 12 is. Maybe that's the age of the person seeing this or thinking through it. I don't know. So this is a pretty valiant image of the uncle, chest buff, knife in hand, like dealing with people who just tried to break into his house. And sometimes the story had no men at all, but instead a family of possums, a very different image. Family of possums starving and rifling through the trash. So still a violation if you haven't seen this. The possums do this and go through the trash like this. So it's still a violation of the thing. That's the uncles. But not near as valiant. More like a daily thing. And in this version, your uncle wasn't brandishing a knife but a broom, or at least a dustpan. And yes, he cursed, but it was near his door, protected by the certainty of the porch light. Aha, that is much less valiant in this way. This is the alternate telling of somebody by a porch light, like afraid of the, afraid of these possums going through the trash. When this is told by your aunt, when she says she couldn't stop laughing at him from the comfort of her couch, you can't help but think of him as brave. So the aunt's version seems like the secondary one, with him hiding, under the light of the porch with a broom or dustpan. But you still can't help but thinking of him as brave, that your uncle, having crossed into this country in the dead of night, is a real, bring back the past of this person having come in to the country, knew what it felt like to face darkness. That seemed to be whispering his name, which I think would be, difficult to do, especially in some of the conditions you'd have to go through. That tempted him to come closer, that wanted his body to enter its folds, and to believe that when he fully entered, then and only then would he be safe. Wanting to see the uncle as that person who crossed over to get here, brave, at night, made it, versus this person who's scared of the possum. And we're not given any kind of way to interpret which one it is. We just have these two images. They're, one is very human, of the hiding with a porch light, and the other one, this puffed out brave thing is human too, but is not as common. So it's a way of reading. I think it looks like a way of reading family history, family story, and who you are based on that. I can easily see this one fitting into a longer collection.